Now that we know the basics of the rhythm controller, let's get into the rhythm editor itself. First, I'll show off how to duplicate and modify preset rhythms to highlight some helpful features within the rhythm editor. Once we're familiar with how everything is organized, it'll be much easier to record our own user rhythms from scratch. In order to edit a factory preset rhythm, you must first copy it to an empty user rhythm slot. Navigate to category 12 on the rhythms list and select one of the slots that says No Data. Long press the function button and the rhythm editor menu will pop up. The flashing rhythm icons in the bottom left will indicate which pattern you're currently editing within the rhythm, and the flashing mixer part icon denotes which of the 8 rhythm tracks you currently have selected. It'll always default to track 2 and variation 1 when you first enter the editor, but right now we don't currently have anything recorded in this rhythm, so we'll need to do some copying. Press the first registration button and you'll see a copy message pop up, along with a few options to choose from. Copying an element will copy over the data for all 8 tracks of an individual pattern in a rhythm, like copying the variation 1 pattern from a preset to the blank variation 1 slot in our empty user rhythm. Copy part copies the data for one specific track within a pattern, so I could use it to bring over just the bass part for variation 1 of my source rhythm. Copy part will come in handy later, but we'll stick with copy element for the time being. Whatever pattern you have selected before you copy an element will determine the destination of the data to be copied. But for right now, we'll just stick with the default variation 1 and then hit enter. This will take you back to the rhythm list, where you can select the rhythm that contains the data you want to copy. I'm in a bit of a bola-sette mood today, so I'll choose bossa nova. The pattern I specifically want to bring over is variation 4, so I'll press that button and the flashing rhythm icons will change to reflect my selection. Now I'll just hit enter and yes to confirm the copy, then wait for the operation to complete. Hit exit and you should return to the rhythm editor screen, but now with the new pattern data copied over to the previously empty variation 1. This is a pretty good starting point, but there are still some parts I want to change. If you want to hear a specific track by itself, first press the part selector toggle button and then use the number pad to switch to the track you want to solo, which for me will be number 3, bass. Toggle the part selector off and then hit enter to isolate the selected track. From here you can hit enter again to bring all the other tracks back in. This electric bass part is fine, but I prefer the more active upright bass part in the orchestra bossa nova rhythm, so let's try to Frankenstein together some kind of super bossa nova rhythm and really get those breezy vibes going. With the bass track selected, press registration 1 to bring up the same copy menu, but this time we'll choose copy part and hit enter. Again, I'll scroll to my desired source rhythm and select variation 4, as that's the pattern that contains the bass part I want to copy over. At this point, you can use the part selector to choose one of the 8 tracks as the source part to be copied. I'm only copying track 3 to track 3 right now, so I don't need to change anything. Hit enter and yes to confirm the copy, and we'll end up back in the rhythm editor just like before. I'll go ahead and solo the bass track just to make sure it transferred over properly. The next order of business is the percussion part on track 1. I think it makes the drum part a little bit too busy overall, so I'm going to go ahead and clear out that track. Switch to the track you want to clear out, and then press registration 2 to enter the clear menu. Clearing is a lot like the copying we just covered, but you'll also notice that we have an extra clear all option if we want to delete all the data contained within our rhythm. Right now, we only want to clear out one track, so we'll select part and then hit enter and yes to confirm the deletion. Now when I solo track 1, you'll hear that it's completely empty, but I can always go back and record something else to it if I need to. When I play all the tracks together, it seems like the bass part might be a little bit too quiet in the context of this new rhythm. To dial in a better balance, long press the part selector button to access the mixer parameters for all 8 of your rhythm tracks. Scroll left and right to choose the track you want to modify, and then scroll up and down to adjust the tone, volume, panning, and effect sense for that specific track. For now, I'll just raise the volume on the bass track and then play everything together one more time so I can hear the new balance. Now I've got a really nice foundation for composing the rest of my bossa nova rhythm. I'll cut things short here so we can move on, but if I wanted to, I could start building up my empty patterns by copying what I already have here to the other variations and making some changes from there. Using the copy function to duplicate material and move it to other patterns will save us a lot of time when we start recording rhythms from scratch. But one important limitation to keep in mind is that you can only copy pattern data to other patterns of the same type. So you can only copy variations to other variations, you can only copy fills to other fills, and you can only copy intros and endings to other intros and endings. To save your work, press 7 on the number pad and then yes to write the new rhythm data to the current memory location. If you hit 4 to exit the rhythm editor, you'll end up back in the rhythm list with this new no-name rhythm selected. To change this placeholder title to something more descriptive, long press record stop until the display shows rhythm name and then hit enter. Use the arrow keys to move the cursor around and the selection wheel to change each letter as desired. In my case, I think I'm going to do name. Hit enter and yes to confirm the name change, then press 4 to exit back to the rhythm list.